Hi, you're watching Live Darts TV episode 6. Today we're joined with Paul Nicholson and Colin Lloyd.
Colin, thanks for joining us.
What a pleasure. Thank you.
I was going to say, it's what a playing career you had. Still to this date, one of the most successful PDC careers going. Must be a huge achievement when you look back at it.
Well, starting off from a young lad playing in the youth system and whatever for Essex, when I look back and now what I did achieve, you know, a big smile comes on my face, you know, because I did achieve a lot, and it was hard work. It was hard work. Nothing was handed to me, and I had to work for it. And yeah, it's great to think in this day and age, I'm still right up there in the PDC with the wins and whatever, and consistency and all that sort of thing. Yeah, so it's great.
Obviously, world number one for nearly 2 years is unthinkable in the era that was there with Taylor there and everything like that. So that must have been unbelievable.
It was. I actually had to. I went to the Primus Masters. I think it's called the Centre Parks Masters or whatever it is now. And I went there as the number 3 ranked player in the world. And I knew Phill Taylor wasn't going. I was 1 point behind Peter Manley at 2, and 2 points behind Phill. Well, if Phill didn't go and Peter had a bad run, if I won the event, I would go into the World Grand Prix. I'd be announced on TV as the world number 1. As it goes, Peter got knocked out early, and I found myself in the final. And you know what, you'd have thought to yourself that the pressure would have really kicked in, but I was so in the zone, I just wanted to win the event. It was all about winning events for me around that sort of time, 04, 05, 06. I was in the form of my life. And I ended up winning it. And if you see me at the end of it, I'm sort of like really going like that. And it's not the fact that I've won the event. It was, but I knew at that point I'd become the number 1 ranked player in the world in the PDC. Wasn't that I was the best player in the world, but my hard work had paid off, and I'd become the PDC ranked number 1, and I knew I was going to be announced as the world number 1 at the World Grand Prix. So
obviously, so the World Grand Prix there, 2004, your maiden PDC major title.
Yeah.
Again, what an achievement in such an era of darts when Phill was winning everything.
Yeah. Well, in hindsight, looking back on it, you know, it was one of the times when Phill got beat early doors. You know, people always say, yes, you won 2 majors, but you never had to beat Phill Taylor. Well, I stand up and I say, well, that's not my problem.
Couldn't care less.
I didn't play him. It's as simple as that. Someone else had already taken care of him, and I just had to play whoever was put in front of me. But it was nerve-wracking, I have to say, that I got to the World Grand Prix final, and that was the worst night's sleep I've ever had in my life, you know, because all of a sudden, even though I was world number 1, the outside favourite, like 1 to 6, 1 to 7, something like that, was Phill Taylor.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I was instilled as the favourite, red hot favourite. I'm the world number 1, he's been mopping up all these tournaments, wins and whatever, and yeah, I felt a lot of pressure. I think a good thing for me was I played a good pal of mine at the time, Alan Warriner, in the final. And no disrespect to Wazza, I thought I had
his number.
Yeah, I had his number. I was playing so well, and I played him in a couple of events, and I got the better of him and whatever. And I woke up that morning, and it was just a case of, and I was like it my whole darting career. Soon the stomach would churn, the butterflies. I'd never talk in the car. I'd just sort of be sitting there looking out the window, you know. As soon as I got out of the car, as soon as I stepped foot in the venue, all the butterflies was gone, and I just seemed to switch on, and I was there to work. I was ready to go. So when I stepped in the venue that night, Alan was practicing over there, I was practicing over here. We sort of, like I said, all the best, and that was about it. I just got myself on my own little zone, and I went up there and I'd done the job.
Obviously, from there, your biggest win was the match play in 2005.
Yeah.
At the time, the second biggest PDC tournament, arguably still is, depending where you put the Premier League in this. But to finish it the way you did as well, with the 170 finish at the Winter Gardens, the place nearly erupted. It
did, yeah. I mean, I'd had shots before that, and I missed it, and I missed it by a lot. I bottled it a little bit, really. That whole match, I just stayed so in the zone. I was just in the zone. And I just kept thinking, I was good pals with the Stan James guys that were sponsoring it. And Steve Walsh was like second in command, and he just said to me, how are you going to approach this? I said, I'm going to approach it actually, like set sort of play. And he went, what, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 3-2. I said, if I can keep winning 3-2, because obviously after 5 legs there's a break.
Right, yeah.
And I thought, if I keep winning 3-2, I'm going to build up a little lead. And that's exactly what I'd done. And then I poked in a 4-1. And that gave me even more of a cushion. And then when I got to the 17th leg, that was the first time in the whole match, if you actually watch it, I started speeding up. And I started looking around, and I sort of took myself out of my comfort zone, really. I was just in such a focused place, because I got it in my head, I thought, I'm going to be the 2005 Stan James World Matchplay champion. There's no way John Park's coming back from this. And then John reeled off something like 4 legs on the trot. And I thought, if I lose this leg now, we're going to go into a break. My head's going to go everywhere. John's confidence is going to go up. And at the time, John was a 2-time world champion. Obviously 3 times now. But John weren't one for letting you off the hook. You know, he'd come back at Taylor, he'd come back at Manly. And I set the shot up. I hit the treble 20, and I went straight down, and the camera didn't catch it straight away. I went straight down to pick off the 76, so 136 to leave myself to 170. Specifically for that reason, I thought at least I'm giving myself a shot then. And John went 20-20, and whether he'd done it deliberately or not, he actually went for the ball when he hit the ball. Well, sometimes in darts you look at that as a bit of an omen, I'm not going to hit the ball. I didn't think that at all. When the first treble 20 went in, I thought that's perfect. And I'd crashed in so many 180s in that final. And the week as a whole, I thought I'm at least going to hit another treble 20. I knew that straight away, I just went boom. And if you look at it for the bullseye, I didn't blink, I just, arm come up and my eyes just looked down, and I held it for that split second longer. And when it went in, I knew it was in the bullseye. That's why I just turned around and I just hugged John. I didn't know what else to do. I thought, it's in. I've won. I just turned around and I just cuddled him. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really get a chance to enjoy the Grand Prix. I did, but it sort of like passed me by because we were at another ranking tournament the following weekend. It was just, whereas won the match play, back then, we had the whole month of August off. And I seem to remember parts of August, but not all of it, because I celebrated with anyone and everyone. I made sure I enjoyed that win, and yeah, I mean, two of the best nights of my whole life.
Right, now it's time for Colin. Your turn, 60 seconds. How many points can you get?
Loads. Ready? Let's go.
Steady start.
Steady old jaws. Not used to playing on the cameras anymore. Come on.
Nice and straight.
Yeah. Beer.
Got a treble.
Pressure.
20 seconds to go.
Oh, I'll get another 3 in there easy. How long?
10.
Come on, Georgie. Oh.
And you're done. Great effort.
Thank you. Canada. Nice relaxed atmosphere, great food. Just a nice little chill day in the garden, I suppose. Bit of barbecue, a few beers, a few friends round. Just a nice relaxed, calm atmosphere and plenty of food and drink and good company. Over the years, I think we were known as the Four Amigos. It was like myself, Dennis Ovens, Ronan Shelton and Steve Beaton. The Blacklist. This Happy Breed. No one's heard of that, I suppose. I'd probably say John Part, Winter Gardens, Stan James World Matchplay final. Lovely. I'd say it was when Phill played Michael at the Matchplay final at 118.5 average. That was some game to watch. Watching two top pros going at it, it was brilliant. Winter Gardens, Blackpool. I think I always fancied myself as a snooker player. I'm rubbish, but I sort of fancied that. Colchester United. Nigel Mansell, quite simply because every time he got in a car, even if it was a rubbish car, he would squeeze every ounce out of it, and he always seemed to get results. So Mansell for me. Ham, egg, chips and beans, all washed down with a pint of fizzy water.
Brilliant. Obviously, 2005 as well, the first Premier League. Lucky enough to play in that. What was that? What was your Premier League experience like from that very first one?
I think before they even started the Premier League, we went down and done some filming. And I think if you look at the old shots of years ago, there was Phill Taylor, limousine pulls up, Phill Taylor gets out, and myself and Wayne Mardle we were walking with Phill. And there were times me and Wayne were chatting inside because the filming went on all day. Right, we do it again, we do it again, we do it again. We're sitting there all suited and booted, eating a sandwich, drinking coffee, reading the paper like this, you know. And me and Wayne got chatting, you know, what this is going to be like, you know. Looks like it's going to be great, you know, let's just see what happens or whatever. And when it first started, you were playing in front of, like, there was 900 some nights, there was 1100 another night, and we were saying, this is fantastic, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. Come the last year I played in it, I think in 07, I played in front of like 9,800 people in Sheffield Arena, and I'm playing Dennis Priestley, the Yorkshireman against the Southern boy.
Yeah.
The atmosphere, I just thought, this is unbelievable. Has darts grown this much? And it was fantastic. From the start to the end for me for playing Premier Leagues, it was just fun. It was business-like, it was work, but it was crazy. Crazy, but a brilliant crazy.
I bet you can imagine where it was there to where it is now. It's just snowballed out of control almost.
Well, like I say, in the early days, in 05 certainly, they tried to put it so that you were in your sort of area. So you could get friends and hopefully sell out
home
the
crowd
arenas
and things like that.
And a sort of like a home sort of venue for like myself and Wayne was like going to Colchester. It was more home for me because I'm from Colchester, whereas at the time Wayne was living up in Romford area. So it wasn't too far for him to travel and his friends and family and whatever. But for me, it was fantastic. And there was like 1,200 people in there. Friends, family, other people I've known for years in darts. And it was just, this is it. This is unbelievable. And like 1,300 people. Whereas now, if you had 1,300 people who turn up for a Premier League, you think, what's gone on? How come they haven't sold any tickets?
Well, 12,000 in Berlin, just gone.
You know, that's just amazing. I'd have loved to have stood in front of that sort of atmosphere, you know, buzzing, playing properly, playing how I know I could play. I'd have loved to have stood in front of that. But I was quite content as well, being in the first one, thrown in front of 900 to 1,000 people. That was fantastic in itself.
Obviously, back in the day, you played in pretty much everything you could. If you fast forward, if you were playing now, would you still try and do that, or would you have been a bit choosy with the schedule the way it is?
I think I would. I used to love supporting the tour. I used to chase the tournaments. I used to chase the money. It's a funny thing when you're buzzing and you're on a high. You chase. You've got to remember back then, there was good money on offer, but compared to today, you know, I could have, my best year, I could have probably trebled, quadrupled my wage then. And that would be the difference, I think. And when I knew I was playing well, I wouldn't do like get on a flight from Dublin at 5 a.m. to try and get back to a Pro Tour event. I probably wouldn't do that now. But back then it was a different thing. You were chasing. Premier League was great, but Premier League was a show.
Yeah, it's not a ranked event.
Yeah, it's not a ranked event. It's not a major. It's not anything. But that's where you can sell yourself, help sell the product of darts, and. But your bread and butter and your income to get into the Premier League was obviously to go to ranking events. And I used to just love going to ranking events, and I used to just love walking in that door, stuffing a bacon roll in, sipping on a coffee, and looking around. I used to scan the room, and I used to think, I'll have some of this today. And that's basically because I look around the room, no disrespect to anyone else. I'd see Phill Taylor work there, and I'd just think, you lot are having it. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But the schedules today for the boys is so tight. It's so tight, and they've got to be on their game. If they're not on their game, they're going to get found out and they're going to get punished.
Obviously, the biggest one is the Worlds. Never your favourite hunting ground, unfortunately.
I always seem to run out of steam when it comes to the Worlds.
Did you have a mental block? Obviously, I think 2002 semi-final was your best. But mental block at the Worlds, or was it just at the end of a long season was too much?
I don't know. In some ways, I think it's because it was the big one. Sometimes I think I just tried too hard.
Pressure on yourself.
Yeah, put pressure on myself. You know, I'd had good years, and it always just seemed to get to the World Championships, and I'd just Lloydie's fizzled again. And I don't think that stuck with me. I think, like you say, I got semi-finals. I think I got 3 or 4 quarterfinals and whatever, and I used to just have, I'm not going to say I had mental breakdowns, I just never turned up. That's as if I'd used all my stuff during the year and there was nothing left for the Worlds. And that was a shame really, because I don't think I got the results in the Worlds that I should have done. I'm not saying I should have won one, I'm not saying I should have got to a final or anything like that, but I think I should have put on some better showings in the Worlds. I didn't, but that's just the way it goes. You know, I'm not going to cry about it. It's just the way it goes.
Right, now it's the Bullseye challenge. How many balls did you get in a minute, Colin?
Ready?
Yeah.
Go. 1, 2. No, not really. I didn't hit one. Anyone done none? Oh,
No.
pressure. No. Oh. Yes.
Off and running.
Yes.
Oh.
Get in there.
Like
Jaws is
buses.
back. I'm going back on the circuit, Wayne.
Halfway through.
Oh, I didn't do that. Oh my God. Other way, Colin. Oh.
10
How long have we got?
seconds.
10? I'll hit one in this way. Yeah!
3. And we are done.
Is that the record?
It is for us, yeah.
You can hashtag do the Lloyd again.
Yeah.
I can't do that, I've got nothing written on my desk. Hello, my name's Colin Lloyd, and this is my tale from the tour. The very first time I got onto the tour in 1999, I had the pleasure of sharing a room with a guy called Graham Stoddart from Northumberland. First ever time to America, and I was sharing a room with Graham. Anyway, there was laying in bed, and it was the day of the tournament. Bearing in mind we started the tournament at 10:30 in the morning. Anyway, I sort of half woke up and turned over and looked. Graham's bed was empty, didn't know where he was at that time. Anyway, I just sort of casually looked at the radio alarm clock, and it said 9:45. I'm thinking, my God, we start at 10:30. Graham had strategically placed his watch and his phone right next to him, and I looked at that and I thought 9:45. Picked up his phone, 9:45. Anyway, jumped up and I just stood there and froze for a minute. Stoddy, where are you? And he burst out of the bathroom and he goes, what's the matter, son? What's the matter? I said, it's 10:15. We told the hockey at 10:30. Jesus, he goes, listen, I'll jump in the shower. You get downstairs, get some shorts on the way, get downstairs, get us registered. I'll be down, you come back up, shower and get ready for the day. So there I was, running down the corridor, pulling my shorts up, pulling the t-shirt on, running down the corridor, pushing the button like crazy to get down the lift. I'm running through the foyer and whatever, everybody's sort of staring at me, what's this lunatic doing? Sprinting around the corner, down another corridor, come bursting into what was our dark room, and there was like 4 people there. And I sort of stood there and I thought, what's going on? You know, I come trudging back, looked at reception, and when you go to any reception, they've got the time zones of where you are, London, New York, wherever. It was 7:15 in the morning, or 7:45 in the morning, wherever it was. And I thought, yeah, I've been done like a kipper here. Went trudging back upstairs, opened the door, and there was Stoddy laying back in bed, laughing his head off, saying, welcome to the PDC, son, welcome to the PDC. The great thing about it was, whenever you go anywhere, you never ever set the radio alarm clock, so I didn't take any notice of it. The sheer genius of the man, he'd left his watch right next to it. He'd not only set that, but he'd also set his phone. And I just thought that was absolute genius. I won't say what I said to him, but he calmed me down by feeding me my breakfast of large vodka and coke. And the rest is history, as they say. That's my little tale from the tour.
Thank you for watching Live Darts TV. Hope you enjoyed the show.